I love it when people make documentaries about themselves. It doesn't happen very often, and I can't explain why I love it so much, but it's just so funny. One of my first commentary videos on this channel was analyzing the Lele Pons documentary that she self-produced, and the main takeaway was that she was using the medium to paint herself in a misleading light while pretending to be objective. And I want you to remember that point, because while I thought I wouldn't get a chance to look at another self-made documentary for a while, Morgz had other plans. Today we're going to be looking at the self-produced Morgz documentary and judging whether it's a genuine display of vulnerability or just a corporate commercial. Go ahead and take your bets now. Hello everyone, welcome back to my commentary channel. I appreciate you joining me today. Now, if you're a fully fledged human being with a life outside of the internet, you may hear me say the name Morgz and say, who? What? I don't care about whatever that is. And you would be right to do so. But if you've been watching YouTube commentary for as long as I have, and it's been a while, then you're probably more familiar with who Morgz is. Morgan Hudson makes children's content on YouTube in the form of challenge videos, pranks, breakup videos, and diss track videos on his mother? You know, average modern YouTube. Morgz is easy content for a lot of reaction channels because his style of video is overproduced, overacted, and easy to cringe at if you're over the age of 14. He's also loud and very British, which makes watching a 20-minute video of him a challenge in of itself. Like I said earlier, I've been watching YouTube commentary for a long time, and if I had a nickel for every video I've had to see about Morgz, I'd have a shit ton of nickels. And because of that, I started actively avoiding commentary videos I saw about Morgz because after a while they were all starting to feel the same. There was never any substantial commentary to say about Morgz because his content was so mind-numbingly artificial and there was no deeper meaning to uncover. In fact, a lot of these commentary videos could be summarized with a thumbs down emoji and pretty much nothing else. Truthfully, it was kind of hard to see a lot of creators I love who usually have a lot of good things to say just shut down over Morgz. He was an easy channel to react to, but a harder one to say anything of substance over. So because of that, I avoided Morgz like the plague, both his channel and reactions to it. I had a Morgz detox for like 2 years, and I can't lie, it was kind of nice. But then, about a week ago, it was brought to my attention that Morgz had self-produced an entire 20-minute documentary titled The Real Morgz, and I have to admit, I was torn. On the one hand, I didn't want to break my streak of avoiding this style of content, because it's not really my thing. But on the other hand, I am fascinated when creators make documentaries about themselves, and I can't lie, I was tempted to see how Morgan would conduct himself in a serious tone. So it was with great consideration that I decided to willingly, and of sound mind, visit the Morgz YouTube channel. Jesus, all of these colors are making me dizzy. I feel like I'm on an IV drip of Kool-Aid. But it was his 3 most recent videos that caught my attention. The first one of the 3, ironically, was titled, I'm Leaving YouTube. The second one being the documentary in question, and the last one a reaction to the commentary videos I mentioned earlier, although here they're affectionately referred to as Morgz hate videos. The very first point I'm going to make, before having watched any of these, is that if I were Morgz, or more realistically his manager, I would have combined these 3 topics into one video. The first video looks like it's an emotional moment of vulnerability, even if he doesn't actually leave YouTube. The second one is the actual documentary, and the third one is a response to his public image in the eyes of other creators. Now, from a business standpoint, I understand why it's smarter to make 3 videos instead of 1. You get more likes, more ads, and more hashtag engagement. But if I were actually trying to make a statement about myself, I'd add the elements of all 3 videos into one genuine package. Now, this video is supposed to be an analysis of the Morgz documentary, not his new style of content. Because of that, we're only going to be reviewing the documentary itself. But from what I can tell, these 3 videos are supposed to symbolize a divorce between Morgz and his old content. Here's what I mean. This video doesn't mean he's actually leaving YouTube. He's just dropping his hyper persona. This video is an expose behind the camera to show who he's like as a person. And this video serves as a reflection on his old content, embodying a distancing between old and new Morgz. Again, I think it would have been more effective if you put all of those into one documentary, but what do I know? Now, we are going to start the actual documentary soon, but before we do, there is one more point that I want to get across. I think the reason so many commentary channels looked at Morgz is because he is a prominent creator for children. And whenever a YouTuber relies on specifically children for monetary gain, they use a lot of tactics and tricks to guide and manipulate them into not getting bored and leaving. These commentary videos unfortunately bank too heavily on the haha Morgz is cringe elements, and that's not what I want to do today. Now, don't get me wrong. Is Morgz going to be cringy at some point in this documentary? Yes, 100%. I'm willing to bet my life on it. This is not a haha reaction to Morgz. What this is an analysis on specifically how YouTubers can influence their image through self-produced documentaries and using impartial film language to appear more genuine. But that title is too long and wouldn't fit. Also, before we begin, please consider liking this video and subscribing if you haven't, so it tells YouTube that I'm actually doing a good job out here. I appreciate your support, and thank you. Alright, no more wasting time. Let's watch the Morgz documentary titled The Real Morgz Documentary. I can't wait.
Yo guys, it's Morgz, and today, me and the squad. Yo guys, it's Morgz, and today...
Someone tell me what the deal with Morgz is. I know that he's annoying.
I can't see anyone over the age of 12 watching Morgz.
How can anyone sit through this?
Everyone, it's time to put on your media literacy goggles because we're not even 20 seconds in, and this documentary is already trying to tell you how to feel. The first clip we see is Morgz doing multiple takes of being hyper, but then he falters. We haven't seen this before. We catch a glimpse of him being genuine. We then immediately cut to examples of creators insulting him, being mean. So in just 2 segments, this documentary has told us that Morgz has been putting on a performance, and he's being wrongfully judged by it. I just know that I'm going to get a few comments saying, Duncan, it's not that deep. But it is. This is deliberate editing choices telling you who and what to care about.
We're gonna see the real Morgz, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that turns up.
I'm gonna do the dramatic sigh that every YouTuber does before their apology videos.
Morgz saying I'm doing the YouTube apology sigh is a really weird choice to make here. To me, it says he's purposefully being inauthentic. So I don't trust him. I don't know why he'd do that. If this documentary is about him, he wants us to relate to him and trust him. And immediately with this, I'm out. I don't even think whoever he's looking at actually said anything about it. Did he do it to be relatable? Is it a joke? Is it a bad sign that I'm this confused this early on? I can answer that one, yes.
Right, so where are we heading, guys?
We are going down memory lane. We are heading to where it first started. The very first house.
I don't watch a lot of documentaries in my free time, but I do go to a film school, and I have had some classes where we've looked at documentaries and how the perspective it takes is vital to how we consume and interact with the information given to us. In my opinion, good documentaries have impartial third parties that can act as a surrogate perspective for the viewer, and that usually means that you have a narrator, multiple interviews with multiple people, and relevant information always being shown. So why does this documentary feel fake? It's because the camera follows Morgz. The interviews are of Morgz. And Morgz talks to the cameraman like he would in one of his regular videos. The perspective we are being tuned into is Morgz's. Morgz's? Morgz's. That is a hard name to make possessive. Mortgages.
Oh shit! 7, 6, 5! Come on! Stop! Oh, I do remember hitting 1 million subs like right here in this bedroom. Do you remember? I'd grown in this house from 8,000 subscribers to 1 million in a year.
Personally, I want to know more about what having 1 million subscribers does to a young teenager. Because it's giving a single developing human a large amount of power and influence, and there haven't been a whole lot of studies on what that psychologically does to someone. But instead of talking about something interesting and going into his perspective and how it made him feel, we just see him listing his accomplishments over dubstep music. It feels a little more than self-congratulatory, when maybe this should have been a moment for reflection.
We got called into a meeting at school. They had printed off pictures of my YouTube thumbnails, like just some like dragged off Google images of me like doing a cinnamon challenge or something. That I brought them out and they were like, these have come to our attention. They just like would not get it that like this was actually a growing career in the making. Me and my mum and everybody, we asked multiple times if they'd be willing to like let me only come in and just do the core subjects. They literally said it'd probably be best if I left.
Okay, so obviously we were not all here when this happened, and we have to trust the perspective we're hearing this story from, which is Morgz's. I think a high-budget documentary would have actually tracked down the principal and interviewed him to give his own perspective, but we don't get that here. Morgz is telling us the school made him leave classes and focus on his YouTube career. But until this point, his story was he dropped out at 15 to do YouTube. So did he drop out, or was he asked to leave? This isn't an important question, obviously, but it does represent the conflict of perspective that this documentary has. We're not given any sides to these stories besides the actual subject of the documentary, which can't always be trusted wholeheartedly. And that's not just a Morgz thing. That is something we need to keep in mind with all creators.
The most expensive thing I'd ever purchased in my life was like a laptop for YouTube. Owning a house, like not renting a house, like owning a house at 16. It's just a crazy thing to be able to say like, I did that.
For everybody that had doubted the decision to take Morgan out of school, to then be moving into a house that Morgan had bought for me to live in with him, was absolutely unbelievable.
And then after I moved into the house, all hell broke loose.
God damn, just keep talking about that. Don't move on. He keeps bringing up interesting topics that I want to hear more about, but as soon as he's done bragging about them, he moves on. I want to know what buying a house at 16 for your family does to a person. But here he is just saying, my YouTube was so successful I bought property. Are Morgz fans enjoying this? He has 11 million subscribers, and the video already has 2 million views. I'm assuming a lot of his fans have seen this. But is it anything new to them? Shouldn't they already know his backstory? Or is he just trying to reiterate his success, to show people, and to show off, and to flex? You know? That's the vibes I'm getting from this thing.
And then after I moved into the house, all hell broke loose. I think half the people were like, we want the old Morgz back, but the other half were just so blown away by this absolute like nutcase running around his house, smashing the lot up. I guess I enjoyed it when it started. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed being more, hyper on camera, and I enjoyed seeing the reaction to it.
Morgz has titled this section of his documentary, The Start of the Morgz Character, which is again distancing himself from the loud, overacting, challenge video style of content. And again, judging from his new videos, it seems like he's trying to do something different. But they're still uploaded by the channel Morgz. If Morgz is a character, like this documentary is implying, then he's trying to leave Morgz while still being Morgz. I am tired of saying the name Morgz. If I were in his shoes and I wanted to drop a character that I felt stuck in, I would make a new YouTube channel. Use a new name, use a new style, just start over, clean slate. And then you tell your old fans, hey, if you want to see this version of me, here's the channel for that. And that way the diehard fans who actually care will have a space to go to and see you in this new way. The reason this will never happen in this case is because Morgz is a brand. His YouTube banner is an advertisement for a phone game with his name on it. Morgz has brand recognition, while Morgan Hudson does not. And if he wants to keep affording these big British houses, he needs to keep profits up.
Go and try your luck. Test me in again, we let it rain. Please don't start us up. Got that black and white, that yin and yang.
Now don't get me wrong, is Morgz going to be cringy at some point in this documentary? Yes, 100%. I'm willing to bet my life on it.
Please don't search us, we don't got a thing. Tell her park it up, then that's be.
I shit you not. There is an entire section of this documentary where he just works out and talks about his body.
Pull up and I'm swerving.
So Morgan, we've all seen the topless photos on Snapchat.
No, the fuck we all have not. I have not seen Morgz' shirtless photos on Snapchat. Is that a thing?
But we need to know, are you actually working out?
Guys, it's time for the truth. It's all been a lie. I actually haven't been working out at all. I've just been baiting you all. No, guys, I'm joking. It is actually true. I have been working out. I've literally been working out all year. As you can see, this is what I look like at the start of the year, and this is what I'm looking like now.
If you're making an entire documentary about yourself, why not include a 2 to 5 minute segment where you just talk about how hot your body is? Anyone would do that. I want you all to ask yourselves, what is Morgz trying to say here? He made this video. He's in charge of everything we're seeing. What possible point does he have for including a workout montage that does nothing but show off his body? If you guessed to flex on the haters, then congratulations, you guessed right. I don't have a prize to give you because the answer was too easy.
I would end up taking 10 takes just to say the same thing. Yo guys, it's Morgz, and today, me and the squad. Yo guys, it's Morgz, and today. Yo guys, it's Morgz, and
That was fake as hell. I don't care. I've earned one cynical comment.
The one moment that sticks out for me for when it went too far was when I literally almost died filming a challenge video. We did a video inside an ice house for 24 hours where we pretty much spent thousands of pounds on these massive heavy blocks of ice. We were about to film a clip where Mum had been to McDonald's, got some hot chocolates, and she was going to bring them to me for the video. The absolute second the camera started recording is when the thing collapsed.
You okay?
Shit, ow. I think a few people on the video said it like that seemed fake, but you genuinely hear me swearing, Mum screaming, the hot chocolate that she just driven for, flinging onto the floor, and you just hear the sound of like ice crushing down. It landed on my foot and I had a massive bruise.
This whole Ice Cube story is presented as an example of how these challenge videos went too far. It's titled How I Almost Died, and it's right in the middle of the documentary's runtime. Usually the midpoint of the story is where a crucial change in the narrative happens. I don't think it's a coincidence that this clip of Morgz almost getting hurt by his dedication to this persona is placed right in the middle of this documentary. It's a perfect way to show how everything changes when it goes too far, and he has this opportunity now to actually talk about how this persona almost killed him. Except he doesn't do that at all. The only reason this Ice Cube story is shown in this documentary is to prove that it actually happened, because apparently some people didn't buy it.
I think a few people on the video said it like that seemed fake.
He's like, here's a bruise on me foot, you can hear the sound of the ice, and me mum threw coffee she just drove to get. Why would she do that if this wasn't real? Dude, you were so close to having a real, genuine moment where this story could pivot into something else. And it just didn't happen. This character that you say changed your life almost cost you it. And that's a serious moment that needs more focus and time.
I remember at the end of the video, I wouldn't thank people for watching or anything. I just thought of it like, if I'm thanking people for watching, doing a nice little speech to my fans, the people that aren't a fan of me yet are just gonna click off at that point. It made me pretty much cut everything, all the real like genuine moments out of my videos gradually over time, just because I viewed them as like, well, they're not gonna help me get a banger.
Okay, it's true that YouTube does encourage creators to maintain viewer retention to a painfully high degree. It will tell you the average watch time of your last video to encourage you to increase it next time. However, it's encouraged and it's not a requirement. It sounds like Morgz regrets cutting out this genuine messages to his audience in favor of maximizing revenue, and that regret does humanize him in my eyes, but he says it like it was this great thing he was forced to do when it was not. It was a choice he made.
Your video is just not being very personal, and you kind of sacrifice that personal connection with your audience. It does wear on your mind, thinking about, like what's gonna make the video pop.
Again, start a personal channel. If I can be an annoying hippie for a second, YouTube shouldn't be about getting rich. It should be about connectivity, meeting people, and being able to see new perspectives. If you want to separate yourself from the corporate conglomerate you've created, start a separate channel, advertise it to your fans as like a real look, unfiltered, unedited, whatever you want to do. But like, you have ways of avoiding that, and I just hear complaining from Morgz. And the reason he's never going to do it is because a personal channel will not make as much money. And I guess that's a deal breaker for him.
Morgz.
Morgz.
Morgz. And Morgz.
Morgz. 2019, you were one of the biggest YouTube memes, with everybody making videos, ripping apart your content. How did that feel inside, Morgan? Did it hurt?
To be honest, I loved it.
Again, before we continue, this was directed by Morgz. This was edited by Morgz. And I'm beginning to suspect he wrote his own questions. He's now talking about all the extreme backlash he got. This documentary does want you to feel a specific way about that. I want you to think about how he wants you to feel. Just try your best to like pick up on it if you can.
Because all the videos were ripping into this Morgz character that I created as almost like a different person altogether, it didn't actually affect me really as a person inside.
If he's telling the truth here, then I'm impressed. Getting that kind of criticism and seeing those videos get millions of views would be crushing to experience. And simply saying, oh, but it's not me, it's a character, can only do so much. If someone like Cody Ko made a video roasting me, I'd go live in a cave for a year until everyone moved on. Commentary channels that focus on making fun of their topics actually scare me sometimes.
Like as somebody who at that time kind of loved the attention and everything, that's it, YouTube done. I've achieved everything.
I've been saying it for years. People who love attention don't care what's actually being said about them. They just want to be talked about. There's nothing you can really do about that.
Boys and girls, here we are back at Don Valley Bowl, Sheffield, which of course was the location of Morgz Fest. The best, well-protected event of the year. You hear that Willany, you hear that Nico Amalana, the best security in the game right here. This is the gate where the attack of the commentary channels happened. We had maybe even 10 different commentary channels all around this gate trying to get through.
Weird.
Me and the team, we came through strong and we stayed protected.
Weird with everyone involved. Nobody should be trying to wear a disguise to sneak into an event for children just to make fun of the host. I feel like that shouldn't be too radical for me to say. Additionally, flexing your event security in a documentary about yourself is also very strange behavior. I don't like anything I'm seeing here.
Maybe one day if there's like another Morgz Fest, you guys can all try and get in again, and guess what, the same thing will happen again. No chance, baby, no chance.
And encouraging it more? This is not a documentary. At this point, this is an advertisement. This is just one big flex that doesn't really say anything of value.
So Morgan, there's one more thing I think we need to settle before we move on. And that is the Mr. Beast beef.
You know what? I will hold my hands up and say, yes, I have taken ideas before. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys already know that. But in my defense, it's YouTube! It's what happens! Oh my gosh, every single creator at some point has taken an idea off another creator.
I'm just now realizing that this whole documentary is just Morgz giving excuses. He's excused his outlandish behavior by saying it was a character. He's excused his pranks people have called fake. He's responding to rumors, reactions, and criticisms, all with different, careful excuses. Buddy, you didn't need to make an entire documentary just to defend yourself from rumors. And I don't even know how much it's actually helping you. Let's say someone accuses me of taking inspiration from someone else's video. My reaction wouldn't be to say, it's YouTube, that's what happens, oh my gosh. And I certainly wouldn't make an entire documentary just to shoehorn that in. I can feel myself being negative. I don't want to be negative. I'm just going to take a deep breath. I'm not going to let Morgz get to me.
If I did a same idea as Mr. Beast or something, for example, a lot of the time my video would be completely different. It happens to everybody. I've had so many of my ideas taken. I've had my thumbnails taken. And I think every YouTuber has been in a point where they've done an idea and someone else has done it first. It's just what happens.
I can't believe how much effort he's actually putting into these excuses when it's a given that his audience is most likely already going to agree with him. I don't know who he thinks he's defending himself from. Maybe the commentary channels that always critique him, I guess, but I don't know why they'd be watching this. Besides, I didn't see commentary channels accusing him of stealing content, and it's implied that all of these challenge video creators overlap each other because they're challenges. That's just too many.
Woo! If I had to pick one moment as the pinnacle of my YouTube career, I would have to say hitting 10 million subscribers. Hitting 10 million subscribers with my family and the people closest to me. Lots of pina coladas were consumed, lots of mojitos were consumed. Yeah, it was a nice little celebratory meal. It was a bit of a blurry night, but yeah, that was a great night for me, a great moment, and a really proud moment as well.
I don't want to be nitpicking here, even though that's what I'm doing. But again, I just don't think he's saying enough about any of these topics that actually have some insight in them. Here we have a person reaching a milestone of 10 million subscribers. That's huge. Creators and brands would kill one another in order to have a platform of that size. And all he says about it is, it was a huge accomplishment. I was with my family and I drank a lot that night. And I want to know more. I hated to admit it, but I actually want to hear Morgz talk more. This is an uncommon perspective, but instead of him going into the thought process behind what 10 million subscribers implies, he just moves on.
What people don't know about Morgan is that he does a lot of things for kids. A lot of children who aren't very well. Maybe it's they've got a terminal illness or they've got something really, something they're poorly. And Morgan has never... Oh, I'm having a moment. Yeah, I mean, it's just so humbling that, at tragic points in somebody's life or short life, ultimately what they want to do is that they want to meet Morgan. He's like the hero.
Look, I don't want to be a cynical asshole here, and I don't want to critique a scene that feels very genuine. But the point she's making here is that there are some children who are dying, and their last wish is to meet Morgz. That's heavy. That is not a small thing to put on anyone. Psychologically, I can't imagine what that does to a person. But we only get to see a minute of his mom trying to talk about it before the documentary moves on again, cutting away from something that we can actually have a discussion about. It makes me feel like Morgz desperately wanted this video to have an exact time limit, because every segment feels like it was cut a little bit too short in order to move on to the next one. Either that, or this whole thing was filmed in a rush and not very carefully done. It could be either. I don't know. The parts of this documentary I want to see more of are brushed away too quickly, and the parts we see too much of feel forced and corporate.
So we've talked about your YouTube career in its entirety, the biggest moments, the lowest moments. Now can you tell people what's next?
It's a commercial. The whole goddamn thing was a commercial.
I really hope you guys have enjoyed seeing a different side to me that you've never really seen before. But going forward, you will see more of that side because I'm going to be being myself way more on camera.
Great, he's going to be more of himself. Good for him. Genuinely happy for him. But I do feel tricked. This documentary said so much and so little at the same time. It was titled The Real Morgz, but I feel like I've only seen a different lie. So in the end, was this self-produced documentary propaganda? Yes, of course. But we all kind of expected that. I don't think Morgz is an idiot. In fact, I think this is proof that he knows exactly what he's doing. And sometimes I worry about the kids who watch him because I don't think they all know what to pick up on in these videos, but overall, I think it's relatively harmless. If anything, it's just Morgz furthering his own career. For the record, I didn't make this video because I hate Morgz. You know, he exists in his own side of YouTube and I exist in mine. I really only tuned in because I have a fascination with people who pretend to make an objective documentary about themselves. That shit's just cool to me. Ooh, I can see by his description that he's offering everyone a follow back on his social medias. Well, if you guys need me, I will be right here trying to secure a Morgz follow by following him on every social media I have. Bye. Thank you all for watching my video. I appreciate you doing that. I'll leave more videos for you on screen as well as my social medias. I wonder if I'll ever reach a point where a documentary is made about me. It'd be kinda cool. If I do, I promise you that I won't have any part to do with the production. Partly because I stand by my point of wanting to be objective, and partly because if I do, that would make this whole video extremely hypocritical. Alright, that's all from me. I love you lots. Stay safe. Bye.